We're going to part with Mr. Tom Morris Jr., and I think the right way to do it is to go with some of his favorite music, okay? Tom Morris Jr. loves hip-hop, so a little Drake to start him out. Tom, how are you today, my friend?
I'm good, Larry. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very blessed and grateful to have you. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of people that are excited to be a part of this, so thank you for taking the time on a day off to spend some time with us today.
Well, happy Good Friday to you and the whole Live TV Nation.
Well, happy Good Friday to you as well, my friend. A great sacrifice happened today, and we're grateful for that sacrifice for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Tom, just to start out here, I want to thank Jonathan Westman from Coastal Style for a lot of information that you have. Folks, if you haven't had a chance to see the great article, it's in Coastal Style magazine, and it really bios Tom's life, and it has some wonderful information in it. I would encourage all of you to take a look at that article and really find out about Tom, because it really goes deep into his history and his passion. So a lot of this came from John Westman's article. So we'll start out. Tom, you had an interest in law enforcement all the way back when you were quite young. Tell us about that interest in law enforcement and what you did.
Well, I grew up, watching cop shows and Dragnet and all these different shows, the FBI with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. And, I Spy with Bill Cosby and Robert Culp. And I wanted to be a federal agent or a CIA agent, but I decided to apply to the FBI when I was a senior in high school. And I wrote a letter to the FBI saying, hey, I'd like to become an FBI agent. And I got a signed letter back. This is 1975. And I get a letter back signed by J. Edgar Hoover, and it said, we appreciate your interest in the FBI. You have to be a college graduate to be considered to be an agent, and that was fine. I was going to college anyway, so I decided to major in my second passion, which was writing and journalism. So I majored in journalism and went off to college and graduated and ended up going into journalism as opposed to trying to become an FBI agent after I graduated. So I ended up, by a year out of college, I was in White House Press Corps covering the Reagan administration by 1981 as a young journalist.
Wow, and you did quite a bit of work. You are a good example, Tom, of working your way up, because, you started out by being a courier, didn't you?
I did. I got hired. I got my first job in D.C. When I got to D.C. in the summer of '80, it was with a company called American Media Services, and what we were doing was recording speeches from all the different political organizations, Democratic and Republican, that were having big ballroom speeches, and we would record those speeches and mass duplicate them on tape machines and slap labels on them and sell them to the people as they came out. So after that, I went into the National Press Building one day and just started at the top floor and walked in and out of every single office. I didn't care if it was the Russian news agency or the Israeli television or Polish radio, whatever. I just went in and out every door. I'm Tom Morris. Here's my resume. I have a degree in mass communications. I want to work in television, radio, print, whatever it is. And by the time I got to the 9th floor, I walked into the Bureau of Independent Network News, and they had just fired the courier a few minutes before I walked in. So the bureau chief said, well, I don't have any editorial desk jobs right now, but I do need a courier. So I was like, fine. So I take the courier job. I start running to Capitol Hill in the White House and picking up the videotapes from the crews in the field, bringing them back to the National Press Building to the Bureau. And during my time when I'd be hanging out at these press conferences or up in the Senate at a hearing waiting for the tapes to be delivered to me so I can take them back, I would learn how to do sound from the sound men. And after about 6 months, I became a soundman. So I started doing audio with camera crew, me and a cameraman and reporter, and we're out there covering national news. And about a year after that, I learned how to do camera, and I started shooting as well. And then we started doing other non-news work for shows like That's Incredible, press junkets. I worked on press junkets for movies like Superman, Witches of Eastwick, Young Doctors in Love, Against All Odds with Jeff Bridges. So I worked on a lot of different things in the mid-'80s, from '81 to '85.
Wow.
I was doing press corps stuff, White House Press Corps on Capitol Hill, but I was also doing entertainment stuff for these movies.
Wow. Holy cow. So your plate was full at that point. My goodness. And then you worked your way up to being live on camera then, weren't you?
Well, yeah, but there were some detours along the way before I got to that, because in '86, I left television and became an economic development specialist, which was something I kind of learned on the job out in Prince George's County, Maryland. And I was working with, I learned how to provide technical assistance to businesses. I did that for 2 years, and then I got kind of restless and wanted to go overseas and live out my sort of Ernest Hemingway-esque, dreams of adventure and romance and danger and all this sort of stuff. So I saw an ad in the Washington Post on Sunday that said, Embassy Task Group Overseas Security.
Wow.
And the one word in the whole thing was overseas. That's all. I just like, overseas. Okay, so I went over to Roslyn, Virginia, got an interview, and basically, after the embassy in Moscow was found to have been bugged from top to bottom by the Russian contractors who built it in, I think it was around 86 or 85, they found out the embassy had been bugged. And they passed the Omnibus Anti-Terrorism Act of 86. And part of that mandated that all of the embassies and consulates around the world, new construction or existing, had to be upgraded or protected through all the construction phases, and they needed to train a special group of people to do this. And they were basically looking for ex-military people, ex-retired police officers. That's what they were hiring.
Okay.
The majority of the people were coming out of the military. A lot of them were coming out of special forces, guys that had gone in to the Green Berets in the very first wave in 1960, late 1959, 1960.
Okay.
And now it's 1987. These guys are coming out, and they're looking for their next adventure, so a lot of them were coming into this program. And I went through 4 interviews, 2 ex-Marine colonel and another ex-Marine general or somebody, and 2 other civilians, and Admiral Elmo Zumwalt was presiding over this whole project and this whole contract. And they just kept asking me, so, well, you've never been in the military or the police. I said, no. I said, but you're going to train me to do this job, like you're going to train everybody else sitting in that lobby to do it, right? I said, yeah. I said, so it doesn't matter what I did before, it didn't do it, does it?
Wow. Nice words. You just got it there.
Okay. So they let me in, and when I got my top secret clearance, funny story, it took us we went through about 6 months of training, and I actually used to drive Elmo Zumwalt to meetings at the CIA.
No kidding. No kidding.
While I was waiting for my top secret so I could be deployed. And so I had picked out different places in the world I wanted to go, South America, whatever. Well, the day my top secret clearance came through, and they said, okay, you're going to Mogadishu, Somalia. I'm like, where is that? Like, where's that? I quickly looked at a map, like, oh, and I did some little back searching right quick.
Yeah.
Second poorest country in the world.
Whew.
Not what I had in mind, but anyway, so I got sent there because they had an 8-man team there, and they were building a huge embassy compound there. It was big. It had a 9-hole golf course. It was going to be the biggest embassy compound on the continent of Africa.
Wow. And
one of the guys in the 8-man team that was already there got caught smoking weed on the roof of the embassy.
What?
So, yeah. This really happened. That's how I ended up in Mogadishu. Because one guy got caught smoking weed on the roof of the embassy.
Wow. Oh, jeez.
So I had to go replace him.
Wow.
So I go and I get there, and I get to Mogadishu in March of '88, and the Civil War breaks out like just a few weeks later.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Throughout that year, and at the end of the year, I said, you know what? I'm not renewing my contract for a second year. This is not looking good here. I'm going home. And that's what I did.
Good for you. Wow. Well, thanks for serving our country. And wow, what a story going to, you were the first, actually, just to clarify, you were the first non-military, non-law enforcement person to have a clearance like that, weren't you, Tom?
Well, to be put into that program.
Yeah.
To be put into that particular program.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations. God has opened some doors for you, my friend. Congratulations on that. We just had a question on screen, and the question was, when Dan Abrams says on the screen, Special Washington, D.C. police officer. What does that mean?
Okay, a special police officer in Washington, D.C., they also have them in Maryland. They have different variations in different states as well. And SPO in Washington is you go through training. You don't go through the full MPD Police Academy training, but you go through specific training, and you're certified in SPO. You are sworn in by the Metropolitan Police Department, but instead of patrolling the whole city, you're assigned to a specific place. It might be a specific public housing project. It might be a government building. But you're assigned to a specific area, and that is your beat. That's your jurisdiction. And you have all the full powers of a Metropolitan Police officer within that jurisdiction.
I see. Okay, well, there you go. So, Brenda in Portland, Oregon, there is your answer for your question for Tom Morris Jr. We're live with Tom Morris Jr. right now, the incomparable genteel man from Live PD. Tom, tell us about, I really want to get in your time with America's Most Wanted. You had an incredible success story and success rate of finding fugitives. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience on the show, your feelings about it, and how it came to be that you actually got the gig?
Well, the way I got the gig was just as extraordinary as what would happen over the 18 years that would follow, because I had a friend who's a professional golf photographer who lived in Bethesda, Maryland, and my wife and I were visiting him one day in the spring of 1993, and when we got ready to leave, my wife remarked about the neighbor's landscaping across the street, and he said, "Oh yeah, that guy, he's the executive producer of America's Most Wanted." And I'd been out of TV for a few years then, because after I came back from Somalia, I continued working high-level security for the government at the Department of Energy in nuclear security. So I really was out of TV from pretty much 85 until 93 when I came back to America's Most Wanted.
Okay.
And so when he said that guy is the executive producer of America's Most Wanted, I was like, man, I love that show. I would love to work for them. And I just so happened to have my resume in the car and gave it to him. And Chris had breakfast with Lance Heflin the very next day. Excuse me. And 3 weeks later, they called me, and I came in, and they gave me a murder case. It was a fugitive named Irving, nicknamed Razor, Irving Razor Jones. He had murdered his wife and her brother in Brooklyn, East New York, Brooklyn. And my job was to research the case, talk to the police, get all the facts I could get the photos of the guy, the victim, go interview the victim's family, go to New York and do all of that, come back, write a case file. All of this I'd never done before, okay?
Okay. Yeah, wow.
So I figured it all out, told the story, brought it back. We turned it into a reenactment script. We reenacted the whole thing, shot it in Brooklyn, and caught Irving Razor Jones within a couple of days of the broadcast.
Wow.
So got my first capture on my first story, went on to the next case, and the next, and the next, and the next, and just really just by the grace of God, and the help of the American public, most of the fugitives I was profiling were getting caught.
Wow.
So just kept going from there, and 3 years in, I was asked one day by the executive producer, he said, you know, I think you'd be good on camera. I said, okay. And so he gave me a murder case to do and report on it as a correspondent, and I did it, and did another one. And basically, I was really fortunate in that most people that end up on television in prime time work their way up on camera from local news to network news to something like that. I didn't do that. I was just in a position where they looked at me and said, how would you like to be on TV on America's Most Wanted?
Wow.
And that's how I ended up being on TV. I think I was 40 years old when I made my debut on TV.
My goodness. And there you were with a connection with John Walsh, right?
Yep. I mean, we're still friends to this day. We were all on this mission together, you know. It was just, it was a tight-knit group of people on the show, our staff. We went through a lot together with these victims, shed a lot of tears with them, and it was a mission and a ministry for me.
Tell us more about that. Now, your father was a minister. Grandfather was a fisherman, so you've got kind of a background. You love the sea, but you also had a dad that was in ministry. So your dad told you that the America's Most Wanted thing was, in its way, a ministry, wasn't it?
Yeah, he told John Walsh the same thing when he met him, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, but my father's father was also a Baptist minister.
My goodness.
And my brother is also a minister. My brother is the chaplain of the UVA football and basketball teams.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wow, that's wonderful. And, you know, one of the things, by the way, we're talking with Tom Morris Jr. from Live PD right now. We're blessed to have him on Good Friday. One of the good things about this, Tom, I think, is that you have had the opportunity to have a background in Christianity that's very, very deep. And I think maybe some of that passion is what drives you to find these fugitives and these people, I would say.
Definitely. I mean, you know, you want to see justice done for people, and when you know the pollen is high here today. It's been
sorry, bud.
But you want to see justice done for people who have been denied it because the fugitives that killed their loved one or raped their loved one or took all their life savings in a con scam got away, and you want to be able to help them have their day in court and at least get some closure. So America's Most Wanted was just an amazing 18, 19 years of my life, being able to help people through the medium of television.
Wow. Well, Tom Morris Jr. with us here live. We're going to be giving out a phone number shortly for you to call in so you can personally ask Tom some questions. In your career so far, spanning both Live PD and America's Most Wanted, Tom, what's been the most, probably hard to pick the most, but can you go over maybe some of the most satisfying things that have happened?
Well, the one recurring thing during my AMW years was it was just nothing better than being able to call a victim and say, look, I have some good news. We caught the person that killed your loved one. I mean, that's just, I can't really tell you how powerful to hear that person's reaction on the other end of the phone and the gratitude and the surprise and shock. And that was just, for me, one of the best parts of doing it, knowing that this person was off the street once and for good.
Well, that's fantastic. And you had an incredible success rate with AMW, didn't you?
I did. I had about a 98% capture rate during my 18 years. They gave me a nickname at AMW, the Electronic Manhunter, because I was using television to catch people.
I would say that's accurate. I would indeed. You know, now we had a question earlier on the screen about your what you do. You've carried from America's Most Wanted to Live PD, and I would say it's probably your wanted segment, isn't it? And also your segments where you're looking for people. Wouldn't that be probably accurate?
It is. As soon as I came over to Live PD, and Kara Kurtz, who was one of my colleagues from AMW, she's one of the executive producers and helped develop and create Live PD along with Big Fish Entertainment and Dan Cesario. And she brought me in for an audition, I guess about 6 or 7 episodes into Live PD, and then that's how I ended up on the show. And we had that same background, being with AMW for so many years, Kara and I, and I immediately said, hey, I would love to be able to profile some fugitives, and Kara was like, yeah, let's profile some fugitives, and we started doing that almost as soon as I came on Live PD, and last fall, I hosted the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's Hero Award.
Congratulations.
And
congratulations.
During that ceremony that night, I actually extended from the stage to the National Center on behalf of Live PD staff that we would like to profile missing children, working in conjunction with Nick and John Walsh and Angeline Hartman, some of my AMW colleagues who are now at the National Center. And that was in October. We immediately started, and we recovered the very first girl in December, right before Christmas, with the help of Live PD viewers.
And we just got another one this week.
Mariah Martinez.
Yeah.
Larry, I could not be happier. When I first saw the picture of her face, she was a cute little girl, and she, you knew she'd been through a lot, being kidnapped by her mom, and we didn't know what had happened to her. Her mother's been custody since January, refusing to say what happened to the third child, Mariah.
Wow.
And that's never comforting.
No.
Investigators, you're wondering, is that child alive or not?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
And I was really praying that she would be alive, and by the grace of God, she is. And one of our live PD viewers knew where she was, made that call, and she's going to be okay.
That's fantastic. We're with Tom Morris Jr. from Live PD and from America's Most Wanted and from. This man has done so much in his career. Tom, we're grateful you're here, and we're blessed to have you on Good Friday. Thank you for being here again. What goals do you still have, Tom? You've been around a long time. You got to still have some goals. I know God's blessed you with so many gifts. Tell us what goals you might still have in your life.
I really do leave my goals at this point in life I just leave it up to God's direction on my life, really. I mean, that's how I felt after AMW ended. America's Most Wanted ended. I've been with one show from the age of 36 to 54. Mm-hmm. I really didn't think I would ever get another opportunity to be on another show full time. As the years went by,
Sure.
And when it finally came around, I was just like, well, guess this is what God wants me to do now.
Indeed. I want to tell you, we just had Sergeant David Moreno join in on the crew that's listening. Yeah, just joined in. So, Tom Morris Jr., David Moreno's right there. Sergeant Moreno, welcome. We're glad you're here.
What's up, Moreno?
There you go. Hey, Tom, you've answered a lot of the questions we have so far. We'll give out the phone number shortly for everybody to call in to ask Tom their questions. Just a few more. Tom, when did you realize that Live PD was going to be the big hit it is? Now, we're talking about huge numbers, especially in that 18 to 49 segment demographic. When did it start hitting you that, hey, this is a big deal?
Within about a month of being on the show, when it hit 1 million viewers, I knew right then that we were on to something. And I also knew that the appetite, I also saw people that were finding me on Twitter going, hey, aren't you the guy from America's Wanted? Or, man, we used to follow you and watch you, for, all those years, and here you are again. It was almost like a homecoming for a lot of those AMW fans that were now coming over to Live PD, because it's the same type of people that are interested in law enforcement, that are interested in justice, interested in catching fugitives, finding missing children, seeing how police work, what they do, why they do what they do, and so forth. So it was right then and there in January 2017 that I said, you know what, I actually told somebody, I said, I think by July we will hit 2 million viewers.
Really?
And we hit 2 million viewers in July.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And for a cable show now, Tom, that's a miracle. People are dancing in the production part, and the direction part. I'm sure Big Fish was just thinking, holy cow, we've done it.
Oh, yeah, because, 1 million viewers on cable is substantial. Mm-hmm. 2 million, you're getting into your Pawn Stars and Duck Dynasty territory. Those cable shows that have become iconic with long-term huge following. So, we knew when we got to that and we saw just how devoted the fans were. I remember, I think I uttered the word Live PD Nation on the show and tweeted it out one night, and that just suddenly became a thing. And it kind of became the umbrella of the entire fan base and the entire viewership.
Yes, it did.
And so it's just a very cool thing, man. The whole thing is just so cool, Larry.
Well, we are very, very grateful that you've done that. And, Tom, you've coined a couple of words that really stick out. One of them, of course, is Live PD Nation. And, by the way, that Twitter page has got thousands and thousands and thousands of people on it. But the second one I remember is Riding Dirty. Now, that has really become a big deal, too. Tell us more about that, okay?
Well, I didn't coin Riding Dirty, but I initiated into the lexicon of Live PD commentary, put it that way. So, because I'll never forget, it was either my first or second night on the show, and this guy got busted with weed or whatever, and in his car, and I said, something to the effect of, reminds me of, I quoted this rapper, Flow Rider.
Okay.
That Flow Rider song, Riding Dirty, and immediately people started tweeting in, Mom, you got the rappers mixed up. It's actually Chamillionaire that did Riding Dirty. So Dan Abrams says to me, he says, hey, Tom, people are tweeting in here, you got your rappers mixed up. I'm like, I said, okay, Dan. And he and Dan are just getting to know each other, too. I mean, this is the first and second episode with So I said, okay, Dan, when we come back to the studio, I'll correct that. I'll take that hip-hop L, okay? So let's just clear it up. So they came back to me, and I said, hey, Live PD Nation, you guys told me I got my rappers mixed up. It was actually Chamillionaire that did Riding Dirty. Thank you very much. And we just went from there.
So Dan Abrams actually had it right?
Well, they told, Dan was reading it on Twitter.
Okay. I was going to say.
Master Control, I think somebody called him from Master Control and told him in his ear, that's Chamillionaire, not Flow Rider, so, but it was fun, it was cool.
That's great. Oh, that's great. We're with Live PD analyst Tom Morris Jr., and that's a great story about the beginning of Riding Dirty. That's good. Folks, we're going to just about be ready here for your calls. Give us a second here. Tom, you are so good at going on Twitter and showing us your life. I mean, I've been blessed to see you on the train on your way into New York, out of New York, into Penn Station. I mean, I've never been to New York, so for me it's nice because I get to actually see some of New York City. You also show, all kinds of stuff. You're blowing snow off of your sidewalks. You're making chili. You're sitting by the crackling fire. I mean, you're so accessible to people, and you love to share that. What else do you like to do in your free time, Tom?
I play a lot of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the firing range. Read.
Mm-hmm.
Play music.
Okay.
So you got primary pursuits. Do stuff around the house.
All right, but we are back with Tom Morris. A little technical difficulty. I apologize for that. Tom was talking about his other pursuits, things like music and firing range and all kinds of stuff that he does. What a joy it is also, Tom. I've got to tell you something. This is a true story, okay? When you Twitter feed, and you'll remember, because you've got an incredible memory, because I've been told, or at least I've read, that you can remember almost every fugitive on America's Most Wanted, what happened, everything. You had went to your church once, and you had, it looked like a guest choir there, and you showed this little boy dancing in the aisle, and it was Oh Happy Day. I've got to tell you, I've listened to that probably 10 times because it's so well done. Thank you for bringing your church stuff into this. As a retired youth pastor, that means a lot to me. And was that sung well? Holy cow, man. Oh.
You know what's cool about Twitter and this technology? Like when I began on Live PD, I had a Twitter account since 2012, and I had a total of 120 followers. Because I didn't use it, I didn't pay attention to it. Every now and then I'd do a radio interview or something, and they'd throw out my Twitter name, and I'd get a few more people, but I didn't have any following. And now it's close to 70,000. And as I began to understand the power of it and how you can project things you want to project out into your followers, I always felt that, why not try to spread the good news from my worship experience to anyone who wants to see it through my Twitter feed.
Yep.
Why not do that? So I kind of just like being able to share it in that way, and if it helps anyone out there even think about changing their life for the better, then that's beautiful to me.
I think it is too, Tom, and I'm encouraged when I see things like that because it's rare, very rare for somebody that's in the media, especially in a job that reaches so many people, for you to be able to share that part of your life. Thanks, man. Really, thank you, because it's a true testimony, and it's really, really special. So thanks for sharing that. Hey, we've got a birthday girl in here. Becky Knox, happy birthday. I know you're going to be asking Tom a question here shortly, so happy birthday, Becky. Tom, what does it look like on a typical day when you arrive at A&E Network in New York? Tell us about that.
Well, I walk in the lobby, and I'm greeted by the security staff in the lobby, and I'm always glad to see them. They're always glad to see me. And I go upstairs to our floor, and I'll usually, we have a pre-production meeting. We have a production meeting before the show, and we go over the lineups and who's going to be on the show that night in the various jurisdictions. And we may have some pre-production stuff we need to do, and just a bunch of things we start doing, getting makeup ready for the 8 o'clock promo we do, getting makeup for that, and pick out our clothes we're going to wear, what shirt I'm going to wear, and what Sticks is going to wear, and what Dan's going to wear, and that's the kind of stuff we do. And then we have dinner. We have dinner catered in around 6:30, so we eat, 5:30 or something like that. So we eat dinner, the whole show, we all eat dinner together, and that's pretty much what we do.
That's really cool. Now, and I've noticed you've changed shirts between segments sometimes too, haven't you?
Well, sometimes, every now and then, I'll be wearing something at the 8 o'clock promo, and then I'll change to a different shirt for the 9 o'clock show. I haven't done that too often, but I'm surprised you noticed that. But I have actually done that a couple of times.
I've noticed that. Hey, would you talk about any of the live PD events that really have just stuck out for you?
Oh my God!
There's so many.
Where do you begin? I mean, you know, obviously Chris Mastriani's struggle with the man with the 2-year-old child in his arms is one of the most profound things we've ever seen on the show. One of the most scary and hair-raising. The gang unit guys in Tulsa who were wrestling with the guy on the ground who had the gun and would not let go and was trying to shoot them. Those are those really compelling, gripping, terrifying moments that we see on the show sometimes that are just real and so fraught with danger. And then there's the absolutely hysterical things we see, like Daisy Duke's guy last Saturday night. I mean, everybody, you know, the guy with his little teeny thong Daisy Dukes. I mean, where else are you going to see that? I mean, it was like, or the guy, Vincent the Ham guy. The guy answered the door to talk to the police eating a whole Danish ham. I mean, this show just is, Larry, I kid you not, every Friday and Saturday night, I am just as excited to see what America's going to show me tonight as you are sitting at home on your sofa.
Well, I like the term crazy dukes. You came up with that so fast. And it was really true, man. It
was crazy.
It was.
And, you know, the best line in there was, well, there were a lot of good lines in that exchange with the officers.
Yeah.
The best one was right at the very onset when the officers pull up, and the officer says, "What are we doing here, sir?" Like, what are we doing here? And then later on when he says, "Just my shorts." Like they're normal shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just my shorts. No, those are not normal shorts, dude. And he was so straight in that. I mean, he seemed like he could have been an accountant or something, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah. And then he asked him what's in the bag, and he said, "My pants."
Yeah, exactly. And he was going to the store, Larry. That's the other thing. Imagine had he made it and walked into a store like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, you know, there are some things I say that you just cannot unsee, and that was one of those times. I remember that, and I remember the Utah State Patrol, where they pulled the gentleman in the car. The lady was still in the car, and
that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that one where the one where she squatted in the road there?
Yeah, on the interstate.
Yep.
That, you know, you can't unsee things, man. And for some reason, Live PD catches these things right when they happen, and that, to me, is something else. It really is, Tom. You guys, the way you handle it, and I think you personally, and I can hear it in your voice, you try really hard not to put down anybody. But you really do. But it's sometimes you gotta laugh because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, you know? and you're gonna watch Twitter light up, and we watch Twitter light up when these bizarre things come on too, and just watch people start posting these creative memes and little clips from other things that relate to it, and you know, I'm always amazed at just how quick the audience jumps on these little things and just starts posting stuff. Oh
yeah, absolutely. We're with Tom Morris Jr. from Live PD. We are honored to have him, blessed here on Good Friday. Folks, the phone number to call in, and Tom, you can hear it ring because it is a regular phone.
All right.
Phone number to
I'm
call.
on a regular phone, and
Well, okay, so we're all on regular phones here, which is cool. Now, I want to tell you, what's that?
we're keeping it old school.
We are. We're doing this organic. That's the way we roll today. So I want to tell you, Tom has, he's got some allergy problems today. I do as well. It's that time of year. So if you hear him clearing his throat or anything, it's just because of allergies. He's got the time off this week from Live PD, and he's generously given us some time, and we're so thankful for that. Folks, the phone number to call in to talk to Tom Morris is 503-420-4062, all right? That's 503-420-4062. If it's busy, it means somebody else is on the phone. So, Tom, we're looking forward to getting some Live PD questions, all right?
Okay.
We are grateful to have you, my friend. You know, there's one person I have not seen yet to call in, and that was a lady who, see, it's already ringing. That was a lady who I'll give you a question for in just a second. Again, the phone number 503-420-4062. And we have our first caller. Now, I'm going to ask you to please give us your name and where you're calling from. Oh, got a little delay here. Hold on. Turn your. Please do me a favor. Turn your volume down on your speaker for the interview. You're live with Tom Morris Jr. Who's this? Yep, you're here.
Hello?
Yes, you're here.
Hello.
You're live with Tom Morris Jr. What's your question?
Hi, I'm Jeff, and I am in Georgia. Okay, so my question is, what piece of advice can you give to use young people who want to pursue a career in law enforcement?
My first piece of advice would be to take a good assessment of who you are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and also spend some time, if you can, get into a Police Explorer program. If you're a teenager, get into a Police Explorer program and learn firsthand about police work, and that will help you decide whether or not it's really for you. If you decide you really think that that's your calling in life, then pursue it. I would say go get at least 2 years of college, because a lot of police departments require at least 2 years of college now, and I would recommend go ahead and get a 4-year degree, because that's going to serve you well regardless of whether you become a police officer or not. And after that, apply to the department you want to join, and if you want to go federal, and just pursue your career.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. All right, that is Jeff from Georgia. Thank you very much for calling us. The phone number to call in to Tom Morris Jr., 503-420-4062. Tom, that's Jeff from Georgia. He is a young man who truly has a passion for law enforcement, and has the Twitter account Live PD Watch Party. So that's where you can find him. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna. Yep, he's a shout out there from Georgia. So there you go. Tom, we always get this question from Lieutenant Dan's crazy crew. If you could meet anyone at all, who would it be, Tom?
Jesus.
Yeah. You are my man. You are my man. You know, that's it, brother. That's it. Hey, you know, interesting that you'd say that, because that's my answer too. Now, Dave Moreno last week had a great one. He said, you know, my parents. I've met them, but it's my parents. And he said, why? Because he came out of Tijuana, and they came over to San Diego to give him a better life. He went to college. Out of college, he went right to the Utah State Patrol. Great story. So there you go. Thank you for that one. All right, we got another call coming through. This one's coming through, looks like from a caller here from your neck of the woods. So hang on a second, Tom.
All right.
Hi, everybody. You are live with Tom Morris Jr. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, everybody. You are live with Tom Morris.
I think we got some delete. Folks, make sure and turn down your screen on your phone or your...
Becky from Maine.
Becky from Maine. Hi there. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're live with Tom Morris Jr., Becky. What would you like to say?
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Becky.
Well, I don't actually have a question. I wanted to tell a little bit about why I chose the Leo hero that I did. Sergeant here in York. I've known him for 22 years, and I chose him as my Leo hero because I really believe that if it wasn't for him, I would probably be doing drugs and drinking.
Wow.
And in trouble with the law. I went through DARE, but he followed me up to the high school after I left middle school, and he was there for 2 years, and he stuck it by me, and whenever I needed him, he was always there, and he ended up being there the day I graduated high school. And, he kind of was there for moral support, and I really believe had he not been there through all of it, I think I'd probably, be the unfortunate ones that are, have OD'd or stuck on drugs. So he's the one I ended up nominating as my Leo hero.
Wow.
That's awesome.
What a great story, Tom. Any comments on that for Becky on her birthday?
No, I'm just, first of all, happy birthday, Becky, and I'm just so glad that you had someone. We all need an angel in our life, and, you never know who that person's going to be or where they're going to come from, but when you find your angel, you just thank God for it and be blessed.
I actually called him at the station earlier today. I was, able to tell him why, and he's like, we all need positive feedback, but he said next time I go on a call for an overdose or something else, I'll keep it in the back of my mind that, if it wasn't for me, you'd probably be in the boat that these people are in. I said, as long as it helps, keep it in your mind, because it certainly helped me.
Well, there you go. Wow, good stuff. Becky, we thank you so much for your call. Happy birthday, my friend, okay?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right. That is Becky from Maine. Your phone number to call to speak with Tom Morris Jr. yourself on Good Friday, 503-420-4062. Tom, we're grateful to have you. So will you be going to service tonight with it being Good Friday?
No, I'm probably not going to go tonight.
Going to celebrate Easter.
Huh?
Going to celebrate a big Easter day.
We are on Sunday, yes.
You bet.
For sure.
You bet. That's real cool. It's neat to watch you. I watched you last weekend in Soho. Tell us more about that. You love to do that. You love to go and include everybody along on your travels. Now, you had your son was there, and he was talking about females, and you kept saying,
That's my two grandsons.
oh, the grandsons are saying that. Oh, no, you're saying, oh, no, don't do that. It was a great family moment, Tom.
Yeah, I love them. They're great. Shane and Mike, they are great. But they're boys, and, having raised two other boys to manhood, my sons, I always tell people, look, there's nothing dumber than a boy except two boys, okay?
And that was what you said. That was really
there's nothing dumber than a boy except two. I love you, but, they'll just say some of the craziest things sometimes, and, and we were all boys. I mean, I was a boy. One boy. I'll tell you the true story about me as a kid. It was the dumbest thing I ever did, okay? I walked up to a hornet's nest and whacked it with a baseball bat when I was 5 years old.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
And it didn't work out well for me, Larry.
No, I would say it probably, yeah. How many stings did you get, do you know?
Enough to land me in the hospital in Richmond.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. I mean, I found out I can't run faster than a swarm of hornets either.
I don't think any of us can. Well, since we're sharing honesty, when I was 3, I rode my tricycle 2 blocks to a Dodge dealership because I liked the bright colors of the car. And a guy in a 54 Ford shows up and he says, "Why are you here?" And I said, "I wanted to see the bright colored cars." He says, "Oh, do you live close by?" I said, "Yeah, I live down that street over there." And he says, "Well, let's give you a ride home." My grandmother, now here's the deal. My grandmother was watching me. And these guys show up and they pull up to the house. And they've got me, they pull me out of the car, pull my tricycle out of the trunk. There's a look that grandmothers have that you never ever, you don't need to hear them, you see it and man, I was so in trouble for that. That was that was the earliest memory I have, and God bless her, she's in heaven now, I hope. And oh man, I was one scared kid. So anyway, hornet's nest, Tom. Oh boy, you learn the best lessons though. Those are the ones that are the hardest learned, but the best memories.
I don't know. I don't know if I put that in the best memories.
No. I shouldn't say that. I should say it. I should cross it.
Multiple times. It wasn't one of the best memories, but it was memorable.
I would say what I always used to tell my youth group kids was the things that are the hardest in life are the things that we learn the best. So I probably should rephrase that just a skosh there. I'm going to ask you a question. It's not on the question sheet, but it's an interesting one. And this is something I want Nation to hear this, because every kid I ever asked this question to, Tom, always answered it the same way. All right? If you could have a money tree in your backyard that gave you 10s and 20s and 50s, all legal tender, and you had the choice to have the money tree, but you would be blind for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
I choose sight.
And every kid, I'm talking hundreds of kids, answered that question the exact same way. So folks, you already have a priceless gift from the Lord. Be grateful for it, not thinking about the next dollar or whatever. I know money's always tight, but be grateful for the gifts you already have, because truly you've been already blessed so greatly. So remember that, okay? Really important. So, Tom, tell us here real quick, if you would. This is something that's really important. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to Live PD Nation? Something you'd like them to know from you? You say so much on Twitter already, but is there anything else you'd like to share with them?
Well, I think that we are, all of us on the show, and there's about 100 people. It takes a lot of people to make the show. And all of us we're all in, it's like the family I developed over the years with America's Most Wanted. Mm-hmm. A lot of TV shows, you don't have real close-knit relations that aren't just professional. But with this, we're all kind of interlocked together in a family sort of way with Live PD, just like we were with AMW. I was blessed back then to have a TV family that was really like family, and I have that again now. And then the Live PD Nation, you are part of that family, and a very important part, because without you, we're not on TV. When we see that they're driving the trending on Twitter, they're saying, hey, we're trending at number 11, let's get to number 1, and it's 9:45 at 10 o'clock, and we can watch that the Live PD Nation is so invested in, it's almost like it's a football game, and our team is against the other team, and the other teams are all the other people in the Twitterverse that are also tweeting about something unrelated to Live PD, mm-hmm. and all the other TV shows that are on during the same hours. Wow. And it's almost like we're that team, and we're in the studio in New York and out in the field in the police cars, and you're at home in your sofas and your dens, and you're laying in bed watching the show and tweeting and saying, hey, let's keep supporting this show. And that's just, it's a magical thing. I mean, I just want everybody out there to know how much we as the staff of Live PD appreciate you, our viewers.
Amen. Amen. Hey, we're with Tom Morris Jr. from Live PD. You've got a final few moments to call in to tell it. Now, first of all, please turn the volume down on your electronic device you're watching the interview on, because you'll be talking to Tom live. The phone number to call is 503-420-4062. That's 503-420-4062 if you'd like to talk to Tom Morris Jr. And, Tom, who do you got in the Final Four?
Well, Larry, as I said earlier, my brother, the chaplain of UVA football and basketball, and obviously the Morris family was heavily invested in the success of UVA.
All right.
Which we watched go up in flames at the hands of University of Maryland, Baltimore campus, which, even though I live in Maryland, I didn't even know they had a basketball team until they upset my beloved Wahoos. So anyway, at this point, I'm just looking forward to seeing real good quality competitive basketball right on through a championship game.
There you go.
And I'd say Loyola would be my sentimental favorite.
Sure, yeah, they would be. I mean, they're truly a Cinderella there. So that would be amazing to see them come out. That would be truly probably the most watched Final Four ever, because of the Cinderella story that they are. So I agree with you there. I truly do. Mm-hmm. Hey, after the first 8 pilot episodes, you and Dan Abrams got together. You guys have excellent chemistry, Tom. You really do. What's it like to work with Dan Abrams?
First of all, Dan Abrams is a consummate professional broadcaster, journalist. He's a really, really genuinely nice guy. He doesn't have any TV star ego or anything. He's just really a down-to-earth guy. He's a brilliant guy, and he's the right person to host Live PD. I'm in the right chair for me and what my skill set is, and he's in the right spot for him being the host of this show. And he's fun to work with. I was on Dan's show as a guest on his MSNBC show years ago when I was with America's Most Wanted, at least once. And that was the only other encounter I'd ever had with him until the fall of 2016. But it's been fun. And, some people say that I've loosened Dan up some as we came together as a team. And we have a lot of fun together, and it's sort of a very natural interplay between us and Styx.
Yeah, it's funny because Live PD Watch Party just said, "How is Styx?" And is he a great friend? I would say so. He gave you a nice watch. Oh
yeah, I mean honestly, we're like three brothers, Dan, Styx, and myself. It's just, I'm just really, really blessed to be working with those two guys in the studio, and we have a lot of fun together, and we're just in it to win it together, man.
Good. Well, we're in the final moments with our live interview with Tom Morris Jr., the veteran crime reporter, also an amazing man, truly an amazing man, and we are grateful and blessed to have him. Last final call-in. Here's your last call-in. Are you ready? Are you ready, Nation? You ready? Call-in number is 503-420-4062. Make sure you turn down the volume of your electronic device so you'll know you will be live with Tom. Again, 503-420-4062. Tom, do you have 18 more seasons left in you?
I'm not going to tell you where that would put me on the. I'd be an octogenarian. I can tell you that. I'd be up there, dude. I don't know. The makeup artist would really be challenged at that point. But as God wills, so shall it be, man. I'm just going to keep going as long as I can and do the best I can and enjoy the ride.
That's exactly right. Now, Becky Knox, you've asked a few times about the children's segments on Live PD. I want you to know we've already been over that earlier, and since you came in a little bit late, go back and you'll be able to find out. He'll answer that and talk about how much that means to him. Tom, we are grateful. God bless you, man. I mean, seriously, you took the day that you're off, and you took it to spend time with the Live PD Nation. And you know what, brother? We appreciate you. Thank you for what you did today.
Thank you, Larry, for having me, and thank you, Live PD Nation. Seriously, I really love you all.
Oh, there you go. We appreciate it. That's the interview with Tom Morris Jr. We're working on Sergeant Denver Leverett. Hang in there, Nation. We'll see what we can do. God bless you all. Remember, it's Good Friday. This is a very important day. It's a day that our Lord suffered and was killed immersively. So please, take a little moment and pray today. All right? Thank you for joining us for the interview, Live Nation. We'll see you soon, okay? God bless you all.